a listener production.
Hey, it's Helen Smith here with this bonus episode of The Briefing. Yesterday was the 38th Annual ARIA Awards. It's Australia's music industry night of nights, where artists from across the country are recognised for their success here and abroad. Troye Savon picked up the biggest award of the night, taking home Album of the Year.
I've had just the most insane experiences this year, playing it all around, and now I'm playing it in Australia, and I'm so proud to be bringing it home. So thank you so much, everyone. Thank you.
While Royel Otis took home 4 wins, along with 22 First Nation artists being nominated across the board. There's no shortage of talent across the island. From Kylie to Tame Impala to Troye Savon, Australian music has for decades made international charts, club anthems and worldwide superstars. But we are also an island, and award nights like the ARIAs can sometimes reflect just how tough the music industry is as a space to succeed. Earlier this year, it was reported that around half of musicians in Australia earned less than $6,000 in 2023, forcing many to quit the industry altogether. So what does it take to succeed in the Australian music industry? We went down to the red carpet to ask artists what their take is on success here and overseas, and how social media might be changing that formula massively. We spoke with Budjerah, Grant Perez, Shirley, Zinzi and the Zillionaires, Ripley Alexander, Kylie Bell, and Van Ann Nguyen. And here's what they had to say.
I think it's one of the hardest industries to really succeed in. Most of it is just kind of really connecting with Australians. The fans are who's going to stream your music, who's going to listen, who's going to come to the concerts, So I feel like having really good fan engagement, that's kind of the way.
You just don't give up. I think it's as simple as that. I think the minute you do, you're out. So it's just hanging on for long enough for something to happen, because I think if you work really hard in this industry and just keep doing your thing, eventually something will happen, but it's just never when you think or want it to. And it's just a matter of holding on.
I don't have a formula for it. I think maybe for me, just sticking with what you believe in 1,000,000%. That for me, if you're portraying that and you're living and breathing it, and hopefully other people will feel the same way and you can spread that joy.
Social media has changed so many industries, but when it comes to the music and entertainment industry, it has completely shifted how some artists make music, with record labels and brands asking for viral earworm songs, with some musicians finding themselves in a tug-of-war between their artistry and breaking through the algorithm. So how are Australian artists factoring this into their work?
Social media kind of changed it for the good and for the worst. Good thing is like everyone can be a musician now. The bad thing is everyone can be a musician now. So like the market's so saturated and there's so many people doing it and everyone's so amazing that it's really hard to break through.
I heard Mariah Carey say this and I kind of agree with it, that it's kind of made music into a bit like fast food. Like it's quick, a lot of substance to kind of like it moves past very quick and people don't really take in music like they used to. I mean, it's been really great for you and upcoming artists getting their music out there, but also I think it's kind of made people move on too quick and it doesn't have the emotional impact that it used to have on people anymore.
I think there's pros and cons. I think it's amazing because anybody can jump in and be able to share their music and people have access. But at the same time, it makes it harder because you're like battling it out with so many people. So you have to push all the content, which is kind of detrimental to artistry in a way. So yeah, there's good and bad.
It's changed a lot. I think when I started, I was in a gray area where it was, it was YouTube. It was very lovely. Now it's, some would say for the better and some would say for the worse. It's good because everybody can come into this music industry. It's bad because it's really competitive now.
Yeah.
Very competitive.
I think it's changed, every industry around the world, for better, for worse, depending on how you want to look at it. But I think the best part about it is that it's connected us to people, in countries we've never been to and cities we've never played. And it's opened up the opportunity for us as artists to go to those sort of spots. But then it kind of gives you a lot of research and data before you even set foot out of your house, which I think is a real benefit.
There's the night away.
some artists are finding themselves changing their creative process because of social media and algorithms, while others said it's just the aspect of knowing everything is being filmed or being posted online that impacts their art the most.
There's definitely a part of it where you feel like maybe sometimes you must have the content out there to make sure that you're present with people, but I don't think it's changed my music or the way that I want to write or share the music. I think that comes from within me.
Australia is known to have a terrible case of tall poppy syndrome, which has led to talk about artists having to leave the country and make it big overseas before Aussies declare they have made it. But is that true? Does an artist really have to leave Australia to make it big?
Oh, of course not. I've been to America. Yes, I don't have many fans in America or Europe, but I just went on tour here and I found success here in my own country. So we don't really need to go to the rest of the world. Might as well take on the world if you can.
I think in a way you do, but I really think that that's not great, and it's been that way for a while. I'm an actor as well, and so there's a real thing, I think, with Australia, which is to do with tall poppy syndrome, which is like once you make it somewhere else, then we'll decide that you're cool, and then we'll give you a career. So I would love to see that change because, like, I look around here, there's so many amazing Australian artists, and we should just be fostering that.
I want to say no. Like, you don't have to. But I feel like, yes, you kind of do. Like, if you want to broaden your horizons and really be like a worldwide artist, you kind of do have to leave the country. But that's kind of the problem with every country, you know. Like, if you're not in the US, you're kind of just stuck in a market.
No, not at all. I think there's a lot of music fans in this beautiful country, and I know we're definitely seeing it with country music and the growth of that genre particularly. I think you can have an amazing career here in Australia, and if you're willing to work hard and travel and do all the things. And so, I don't think that necessarily is a thing. I think, again, back to social media, it's allowed us to stay in one place and still reach, a global audience.
The music industry is filled with so many amazing Australian artists. So who are some of the artists' favourite artists that we should be listening to?
Her name is Amy Manford, and I think she's just so sadly underrated at the moment, but she's growing so quickly. She was Christine in Phantom of the Opera, and she's like a real-life Disney princess. But she's coming up with a lot of original music, so go listen to Amy.
I want to say Alexia. She's one of my favorites. She's got a song called 24. It's probably like one of my favorites at the moment. I've got it in literally every single playlist. Yeah, I think everyone should be listening to her.
Oh, Psycho. I don't know if she's underrated, but to me, she's incredible. Her new album is so kicking. So Psycho.
I love Becca Hatch. I mean, she's like totally on the come up. She doesn't need me to give her. But she actually, when I was performing as Okenyo many years ago, she was my support act. And same with TK Maidza, all of these incredible people. So I just ran into TK and it's just so amazing. They're just doing so well. It's sick.
Anyone from the Western Sydney, so good. Yeah. But right now, who I'm thinking of, I'm going to switch it up in this one. I'm going to say Friday. I think Friday, mine is just so good. Beaming, Friday.
That was Budjerah, Grant Perez, Shirley Shirley, Zinzi and the Zillionaires, Ripley Alexander, Kaylee Bell, and Van Ann Yuong joining me there. That's it for this bonus episode of The Briefing. We'd love it if you could share this ep with someone else you think might enjoy it as well. It really does help us keep making this content and giving it to you guys. If you want to keep up with our other content though, you can check us out on Instagram at The Briefing Podcast and on TikTok and YouTube. Just search for Listener Newsroom. We'll be back in your feed this Savo from 3 p.m. I'm Helen Smith. See you next time.